everyone, welcome back. Just got a little bit of news to go over in today's video, and I wanted to talk about as well a really great turnaround from Massive in recent days. With Christmas right around the corner, there isn't a whole lot happening right now, but I'm hopeful in the new year, and of course in the lead up to the PTS in January, there should be a lot more. Drop a like, subscribe, let's get into this. So let's start off with the most recent news. Today Massive announced the ETF invites had gone out, and if you have applied, then to check your emails. Here's what they had to say. Heads up ETF applicants, a batch of invite emails was just sent out. We could not accept every applicant, but we sincerely thank everyone for their interest in joining the task force. It's funny because only the other day I was reading through comments to another piece of news that I'll go over in a second, and some people were talking about how the ETF had been abandoned and how it was just all kind of like a PR stint, and yet here we are. Sometimes things don't happen quickly, and sometimes they will never come quick enough. Hopefully, this should put to rest any concerns the community might have about the ETF. This is good news that these applications have gone out. I do hope, as the ETF have done in the past, the players chosen represent everyone, whether that be hardcore PvE and casual PvE players, hardcore PvP and casual PvP, and all of the players in between. Just like they did in the Division 1, I do hope the ETF can have a good effect on the path that Massive take. My understanding of how the ETF works is Massive will say, we've got this lined up, and this lined up on a big board, and the ETF members will say, yes, I like that, or no, I don't like that, and Massive, within the constraints that they have, will make changes if they can. I do know that they had a great effect in the Division 1. I think it was maybe update 1.7, update 1.8, I believe it was. We had huge effect, and I believe that was also, I think it was 1.7 and 1.8 were like the best of the Division 1. So I'm hopeful they can have the same effect here in the Division 2. Now, moving on, and I'm sure most of you are aware of the new exotic farm. This was introduced with the General Anderson Manhunt going live, and it's very simple to do. Just complete the Manhunt mission, the General Anderson Manhunt mission, and it will drop an exotic every single time. Obviously, if you're farming exotic components, just put the difficulty on normal, and you can breeze through the mission in no time, anywhere from kind of 10 to 15 minutes, probably more like 13 to 20 minutes or so on that difficulty, just running through yourself. Now, there was one major issue with the completion of this mission when it came out. If you had a full inventory, the Doctor Home exotic that you got for completing the mission, this was a guaranteed drop, could not go into your inventory if your inventory was full, and that way you would lose it because, of course, as soon as it dropped, it would go to the cutscene, and there you go, it's lost, and you won't be able to go back to get it. A couple of days ago, on the 19th, Massive decided they would implement a change to the Manhunt, saying, what we are changing with this maintenance. The Doctor Home exotic rifle will now be the only exotic rewarded for the Season 10 Prime Target mission completion. The thinking behind this change being that for anyone who had lost the Doctor Home exotic caused by this full inventory issue, they could rerun the Manhunt mission and be guaranteed the only exotic that would drop would be the Doctor Home exotic. Now, this seems like a fair change, but many players hit back at Massive because when you deconstruct the Doctor Home, it does not give you an exotic component. So this change would effectively ruin the exotic component farm, or the exotic farm as well. A farm that I've seen so many people be happy about. Of course, the exotic components, they're vital if you're trying to get items from level 10 to 20 with the expertise system. Of course, it's vital if you're just trying to get all the different exotics in the game. And this new farm, this has been guaranteeing an exotic for every single run. So you'd either be guaranteed an exotic you maybe don't have, or at the very least, you get exotic components. Now, to my surprise, the next day Massive posted this. We've heard your concerns and decided against implementing any changes. You should be able to acquire the Doctor Home exotic rifle as a random exotic drop once you complete the General Anderson Manhunt mission, or by replaying it with a new character. I didn't expect this. Massive, firstly, with speedy communication, and reverting a change due to community feedback. This is the type of communication and reactiveness we all want from Massive, so I have to applaud them for being so quick with this. Of course, it sucks for the players who did lose the Doctor Home exotic. Now, you can get one on a new character, or unfortunately, you just got to hope the RNG is on your side. To be honest, you're not going to have to do many runs, I imagine, to get it. Although there is a lot of exotics in the game, and there's no kind of protection against not getting the same exotic twice. So it could take you a long time. That's unfortunate. To be honest, the Doctor Home exotic is pretty poor. The armor kits, I believe they're meant to apply to party members, but they don't. Party members can't even see them, I don't believe. The weapon has a real identity crisis because on one hand, it wants you to be in cover, firing from a distance, almost like a support weapon for your team. But on the other hand, the armor kits drop at the feet of downed NPCs for you only, meaning in order to benefit from the talent, you have to leave cover and collect the armor kit. So for me, it needs to be a support exotic, dropping armor kits for the rushers on your team who can pick them up. That's kind of where I see that exotic coming into play. And of course, that's not going to be ideal for every situation. It is what it is. But I think every exotic needs its own identity. And I really feel like the Doctor Home just doesn't have that at the moment. It wants you to be in support, a support player, but also to be solo using it, but also be a rusher at the same time. It makes no sense to me. Massive could really do with the ETF looking over upcoming exotics and their talents to make sure they make sense, because there's no point having an exotic in a game, a new exotic in the game that you want players to chase, if that exotic isn't something that's worth chasing. And I really feel like the Doctor Home is one of those weapons. Of course, if you're someone who just likes to collect all, the exotics in the game, fair enough. But for a lot of people, they're going to get this exotic, it's going to go in their stash, and they're never going to use it again. Before we end this one, guys, I just wanted to quickly say as well, in regards to the Division movie, in my last video I talked about how the Division movie had kind of been put on the back burner, and that, based on obviously all the world issues and all that sort of stuff, they didn't feel like it was ideal to be making that sort of film about, the Division, because obviously it's so close to the world that we've been living in for the last couple of years. However, I have seen some comments from Rawson, who is, I believe, the director of the film, or certainly is a major part of the film. And he's basically said that article isn't quite accurate. And it seems to suggest that actually stuff is ongoing with that film, with the Division movie. So just watch this space. I don't yet know when we might expect that film to be coming out or any of that sort of stuff. We've got Rawson saying everything's okay, and then we've got an article saying everything's not okay, basically. So I really don't know which one is which at this moment in time, but we'll have to wait and see. It is a movie I'm really, really looking forward to. I really like the cast on it, and of course it's around the Division, which the theme of the Division for me is such a powerful theme, and I really feel like they could, if they do it properly, they could really make a great movie out of it. So yeah, fingers crossed. It is on the back burner, it is in development, and it is on schedule, but we'll have to wait and see. I hope you enjoyed this one, and if I don't make a video before Christmas, I do hope you all have a great Christmas, whether you celebrate it or not. It's been a difficult year for so many of us, and you all deserve a well-earned break. Until the next one, Epic out.